what is going on with big tech in the markets. I'm going to talk about it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and leopards can't hide because they're always spotted. All right, guys, Google, Amazon, Meta, Apple, we're going to talk about all four of those and look at the technicals on that and see what formations we have on each one, because I do believe that it is getting very interesting to see what exactly is going on. I'll tell you later about Moo and the free stocks that you can get. I'll tell you about the Patreon where you can see my buys and sells and join my Discord, and then also my options course that I'm building up over there that you can go and check out as well. With that said, let's go right over into the charts on this one. So, like I said, the very first one would be Google, and we have this ascending wedge, and I said coming back days through here, I think it was in the first full week of September that I was talking about it, saying that we could fall out of this pattern when we do have a significant drop, had some options plays on it, and they played off very well using the different put options that we had. Looking for that expected weakness, we got at least some of it, but I don't know that we've gotten all of it. This company is a testament to why you want community when it comes to talking about this stuff, because I had somebody ask over in the Discord, they said, I think it was back on this day on 9/21, they said, is it too late to get into Google puts? And now, mind you, while I can't tell anybody to buy or sell anything, I can talk about what I would do. And for me, this would be a time that I was out of it. And I was out of the puts for a reason, and that's because we're sitting right on the 50-day, and you can see what happened on the next day. So this would have been buying a put on this day and kind of losing some time value at the very least on it for the next day. So probably being negative on that put option, depending on where you bought. Maybe you could have profited if you got in during some of these lower periods. But you'll notice not only do we stay on the 50-day, we kept it as support, but then that was also Friday, which means you would have had to eat in that time value over the weekend as well, and that wouldn't be very good. So for Google, I don't believe that it's done dropping. I don't think that it's going to be a straight drop. I think it's going to be more of a volatile one. So when we look down at the RSI, it currently is below 50, so we're in bearish territory. We did flatten out on this last day. I think that it's possible the markets will give us a bounce, and Google will be part of helping out that bounce. Should we break down below the 50-day, though, I think that Google has room down to not only 125 from where it currently sits, but also down to 120 if we get a stronger 120, to say it clearly, should we get a stronger market sell-off. So this is something I think that we could have a near-term rally in the price. I do think that we stay below this rising wedge, and I think it is possible that we not only retest that 50-day as support, but that we also break through it should we come back down to it. And it is possible that we break through it initially off the bat, and then, we could get that further sell down, but we're going to have to play the markets as they come along, seeing what we get from those. So the next one is Amazon. AMZN. There we go. And this is another testament to why it's nice to have community, because I wasn't really looking too much at Amazon at all, but somebody asked me what I thought about Google and Amazon, and this was over in the Discord as well. And so I took a look at Amazon's chart. Notice that we have a broadening wedge pattern here, and this is something that I was saying to them, that it is possible to come back up, and here's their 50-day. And so this magenta that you have here, this is a possible trajectory that we would go on, where we would come up off of this low, hit the 50-day, and then possibly fall back down this way, back down through support. So that is something that could happen to us, taking us down to $120 per share. And again, not necessarily straight there. We do have, for example, $125, $126 to stop by before getting down there. And if Amazon is heading that way, the rest of the market is also likely heading that way, because Amazon is an incredible company, and I did say that should we start to see this coming down around that $120 mark, that we can start calling it Prime Day, because we start to get discount deals on Amazon stock. So guys, that's what I have, that broadening wedge pattern and the possible trajectory. If we do break down below this, I think that we come back up and retest it, and then that would give us a sure sign, should we start falling away, fail to break that resistance of getting back into this, that we would be falling away from it. All right, Meta's the next one. And Meta I talked about in my previous video, I think it was on Friday of last week. And here's the symmetric triangle pattern that we have. And here's the possible supports. And this is if we break down through the bottom of this. And this is going along with the expected market weakness. And we are dancing around the 50-day. And you can tell just how well it's acting as sort of support, resistance, and the market's reluctance to break off of that. And just out of curiosity, real quick, Bollinger Bands, notice how they're narrowing. There's a breakout coming soon for Meta. Put that down, mark it down, a breakout coming soon for Meta. We don't know if this is to the top side, to the bottom side. I will say if we get a near-term market rally to come up off the lows that we had, watch my previous video for that one to talk about more about what I expect for the market coming up sometime soon and the critical retest numbers for that. So Meta could possibly peekaboo out over the top of this before the market, while the market is doing its retesting, and then possibly rip back down through here. So this is what I'm looking at. And so for Meta, 275, and then from there possibly down to 250. Again, that's with significant market drawdown. And I will say we did have a double bottom here that we retested as support. going back into the middle of August, so that would be something to watch out for, that we could have that support. But this is one I did have a put option on Friday. I closed it out intraday because I didn't want to hold on to it over the weekend. I wanted to kind of kick around the idea of what's going on with the markets a little bit more. And now that I've done that, I believe that I will soon be taking out another put option position on Meta. So Meta, be watching that one. The symmetric triangle pattern itself, not necessarily a pattern that's going to show us bullishness or bearishness. It's going to depend largely on if we break through the top or if we break through the bottom of this. But keep in mind, I am standing by my word that a breakout is coming very soon for Meta. That's going to be decided. Should we retest either up here at 312, which actually I think is a good near-term turnaround point where we peekaboo through the top, retest about the 312, 313 level, maybe 314 before getting rejected and heading back down. It is also possible that we come up to the 326 level, but again, I think that would take significant push up from the markets to see that happening. Now, that is another thing that we have to watch out for. If we get stopped out at 326, that would be a double top on Meta. So that could be something that would push us back down again through here, maybe retest the 50-day, and then we'd have to see if we break down through, start heading back towards 275. So it doesn't necessarily spell a great picture for heading upward from there. And I'm going to get to Apple in just one moment here. And before I do, I just want to tell you real quick about the stocks from Moomoo. Moomoo is the app that I use where I do my options trades because I like their options analyzer, the options calculator that they have over there. And if you do make your deposit of $100 or more, you get your free stocks. Here are the deposit levels. Here's the free stocks, free share of Tesla or Google at the $5,000 deposit level, and each of those stocks is valued up to $2,000 a piece. My buys and sells I post over at the Patreon. You can check out and see what I'm doing by going over there, getting into the private Discord that's part of that, talk with me and my community members, and like I said, see my buys and sells. And if you like options, or at least the idea of options, and you want to start learning about them, you can learn about them using my options course that I'm building out right now. Just about to get into the application side of that, where I talk about actually buying the calls, buying the puts, and then moving from there into advanced option strategies. So with that said, check those things out. I do want to bring Moomoo back up here. So let's go back over here, and we're going to talk about Apple. There we are. And Apple, this is one that was asked about over at the Discord. And this is what I like about community. It's, hey, what do you think about this one? What do you think about that one? What's going on with this stock? I can go and I can look at those and see if there's any opportunity coming up. And here we have a descending triangle happening on Apple. And you can see there's rather significant support that we have down here, and that's at about the 173, 174 level. So we want to keep an eye on that, because if we break down through that, we have a significant way to move down from that, possibly down to that 170 mark. And then from there, we have our 200-day, which I think is really where we'd start to see this thing bottom out. So about 165 is about where that's looking. Even by the time that we get there, maybe we peekaboo down through it a little bit, such as what we did back here and what we see back over here as well, that I don't know that should we draw down that hard that we stop right at the 200-day. I think that could be a good sign that things are about to turn around for Apple should we fall down through that. And it is possible that we negate this and that we push up off the bottom. So another story to tell from this would be that we had a double bottom and now it's time to come back up off of this. And maybe if we get that near-term bounce, that's where we start to see that 180 level retested, possibly even coming up to its 50-day, which right now is about 183. And fast forward a couple of days, that's going to soften down to like 181, 182, unless we get a really significant push up from there. So that's what I have for Apple. And I want to pop out of that and summarize this thing. So for Google, actually, I should say for the market in the near term. Market in the near term, one of two things I think is going to happen. We either sell off and then we retest resistance and then sell off some more, or that we have a nice little bounce, that we hit resistance, and then we sell off from there. When we retest support, if we break through it, that's where that sell-off happens. So we're either going to go up, retest, and drop, or we're going to go down, bounce, and retest, and then drop some more. So it'll be up like that, and then down, or be down, up, down. We'll watch and see what happens with the markets, but big tech is going to be no stranger to this. Big tech is not going to move differently than this. In my opinion, big tech is going to move right along with it, and that is where our deals come in. We want to watch for those cheaper prices, and if we can, and it's what we plan to do, capitalize on the way down, and I will be talking about that over in the Discord, available through my Patreon. You can find that link down in the description. You can see what I'm buying and selling to deal with any sort of market gain or market softness, you name it. Whatever the direction of the market is, we're looking to capitalize on it no matter what. And as we find those deals in the market, should we get the sell-off, then we're going to turn things around and start really buying in while there's blood in the streets. And then the Moomoo app, sign up, get your free stocks as well, and you can trade like I do through that. And you can even, there's also wonderful learning tools over there, and then there's also community tools that you can find as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.